Dun, 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 dun. How we feeling? We okay?
I'm dead inside.
Oh.
Welcome to this Podcast Sox.
Raise the roof. Raise the roof. Come on. Let's do this thing.
This Podcast Sox. I am
This podcast
co-host
sucks. We suck.
P-Dawg and the other co-host Jimmy G.
That's how we do.
We are two Bears fans.
Unfortunately.
And Sox fans, and he's a Hawks
Also,
fan,
unfortunately.
but and Bulls fans.
Yep.
So I say that we're obviously not good. Our Chicago teams fire coaches like no other. They fire general managers like no others.
Real quick, let me say this. For the new people that are watching right now and wondering why maybe we are so down to start this episode, it has been heartbreak loss after heartbreak loss after heartbreak loss. This is the 5th straight week that we have lost. And it's not getting any better.
It is.
There are things that are.
It is like from the first 3 losses to these last 2 losses. There's a difference.
Yeah, but I mean, like the loss against the Patriots was like really defeating.
So we're Bears are 4-7. And
unreal considering we were 4-2.
We are 7 losses. The Texans was there, and I felt like that was a coaching L. The Colts game was there, but that was a Caleb Williams kind of regress. They figured things out after that, and then there was a Hail Mary or a Hail Mary loss that should never have happened.
A fail for us.
A defensive breakdown. It was clearly coaching. The players weren't coached enough. Bad scheme.
There's also the way it happened with Tyreek Stevenson. You know what I mean?
Just got their asses handed to them by the Cardinals, which that was just a debacle. And that was after a bye. And then they got their ass handed to them by the Patriots, which should never have happened.
Nope.
But then at that time we are 4-4. Or am I missing a game? I can't remember if I'm missing a game.
Third loss was against Washington.
So Washington. Oh yeah, so I got Washington Cardinals, Patriots there. So that's 3 losses. So actually we are 4-5. And then we have the Packers game, which we played better. We made a change, and that was Thomas Brown's first game, and we looked better, played better, and then special teams just lets us down, and they blocked the field goal that should have been the game winner. And also there was this issues with Eberflus. Not that I entirely disagree with some of his calls, but they are still questionable calls. And 4-6, and then we have this game, which I guess let's jump right into it. How do you dissect this game?
I don't think you can.
I'm about to try. Thomas Brown called a pretty darn good game. Caleb Williams looked comfortable early. They scored a touchdown on the opening drive, I think. Maybe it was the second drive. I'm pretty sure it was the opening drive.
No.
I was not. I think it was later on. Maybe.
Because they were on the goal line and we forced a fumble. Jonathan Owens.
Aaron Jones fumbled at the 2-yard line. You're right.
Yeah. And then we brought it back.
And then we brought it back and hell of a drive. It was a good drive.
Yeah.
It was good drive.
Good drive.
We scored first.
Yep.
In the first
first time this season. That's why we bring that up.
Yes. And then our defense is regressing.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good. There's so much space.
Big play after big play after big play after
2 weeks in
big
a row.
play they are allowing.
2 weeks in a row.
Oh, we'll get into it. But I want to bring up a point later.
2 weeks in a row that we let us just say this, that none of it was Justin Jefferson.
I mean, Jalen for the most part locked him up.
Jordan Addison was the problem.
Yeah.
And Aaron Jones was a problem. But so much space, and that showed in overtime.
Yeah. Pretty much all day to throw again.
Yeah, no pressure. And I'm going to say this. the Bears, I think they need another guy to help out Montez Sweat more than they need an offensive lineman. I'm going to say that now. You were right. I think you said that earlier when we started this
Yep.
podcast.
Yep.
You didn't
I
say
said
in those terms, but you said they really needed somebody with Montez
Yeah,
Sweat. I
said they needed someone opposite of Montez Sweat to help him out to get the double teams off
I'd
of him.
almost rather them either sign somebody and pay him, or if there's a guy out there in the draft, I'm not very intelligent on draft stuff, but I feel like that's more important because offensive line looks better.
It does look better, but I feel like we always say that randomly, like, oh, they look better, and then they suck. You know what I mean? We definitely need depth there.
No, but I just feel like that's second priority. I think Montez.
No, yeah, I agree with you. That defensive line, week after week after week, there's no pressure from any of them. Even Sweat. Now, that's not necessarily Sweat's fault. He's getting double teamed, even triple teamed sometimes. But you, as a defensive line, you have got to get some pressure on the quarterback. And it's just they have all day to throw, week in, week out.
Their sacks are just good coverage sacks. It's not like we're getting there.
Exactly. The QB's holding the ball, and eventually we're getting to them. But I mean, the amount of time that they have to throw, I mean, damn, dude. Me and you could sit back in the pocket and make a throw. You know what I mean?
You could have breakfast, lunch, and dinner before.
And I tried telling so many people this. I was like, I do not like that defensive line. Javon Dexter has definitely cooled off. He hasn't done much of anything since like the first 4 weeks. He has been invisible.
Sweat finally got his first
I forgot
sack.
we even had him.
Sweat finally got his first sack in like a month and a half.
Yeah, and basically the other guys, I don't even know if they're worth mentioning. Booker, where the hell's Booker been?
I don't know. I mean,
is he even on the team anymore? Like, nothing's happened. And everyone said this line looked good enough. No one was worried about it. No one wanted to make a move. I knew it. You know what I mean? They hit a wall. People figured out how to protect against them, and nobody's doing shit now.
And then that leads us, obviously, all that into the fourth quarter. Bears defense let them down. Matt Eberflus went for fourth down. I don't hate the call. I hate the play they ran, but I don't hate the call. But Keenan Allen could have caught it. Williams threw it a little high. But
I did call out Keenan during that game because he had a few drops.
But he also had the best game as receiver.
Yeah, I texted to my cousin and brother. I was like, yeah, this Keenan experiment didn't work for us. We need to get rid of him next year. Right after that, he was making play after play after play.
Same thing in the first quarter, and the next thing you know, he ends up catching like 7 passes.
I know. I was like, hey, credit to me to get I got him going for us, okay? And then like again, he dropped like 2 more.
It wasn't.
I think he had like 3 drops that game.
But you're Keenan Allen, like that's why you're judged at a higher standard.
Exactly.
I love that DJ Moore is happy again. He's getting plays.
Yeah,
getting him in, and Cole Kmet also a couple plays. That dive.
He moved the ball around. Caleb did great. He moved the ball around.
Caleb did that fantastic play, then hit DeAndre Swift for that pass. It was probably the best play of the game.
Ooh, that was nasty.
It was. And then I want to get to, obviously, after all the crap, and the Vikings take that 27-16 lead, where we all accept defeat. I accepted defeat then.
I did too.
We didn't think it didn't look good. It was like a little over 2 minutes to go, and we knew what it had to be. We had no timeouts because Eberflus is doing dumb challenges.
Oh my God, dude!
I do want to mention a point. I want to complain for a second.
Let's hear it.
Not on the Bears, but the officiating.
Let's not be those guys, though. We beat ourselves.
I know. There's also another play we got to bring up, but that really lost the game. But no, that was so clearly pass interference that that the DJ
in the
Moore
end zone
pass, DJ Moore.
Yeah.
It wasn't a dime, but it was a good pass, and they were mobbing him in the end zone. It was clear pass interference, which
I don't think it was mobbing him, but he definitely didn't turn around.
They were yanking him, grabbing him, and they didn't call it, and that was BS.
Long story short, he definitely interfered with Rowe.
And also, I think it's very unfair that they reviewed Keenan Allen's catch and they took it back when it was so close. Yes, was her white? Probably. But then with the Vikings play, which was a stupid challenge by Eberflus,
very dumb,
and a stupid explanation by Eberflus.
Oh my God, his explanation was any kind of big play like that, you're always going to look to
even if it's
review.
obvious.
Yeah, even
Explosive play.
what?
He didn't go out of bounds, but it was close. But they said that there was an angle that they could not look at in New York, and I thought that's absolutely stupid. If you have review, every angle should be in play.
Yeah, but I understand not every stadium has that. You know what I mean?
I mean, they clearly see it right there. If they can show it to the public, they can see it in New York.
Well, I think they screw up by showing it to the public in the first place. If you can't use that angle, don't show it to us.
But my real problem is it was as close as Keenan Allen's, and they reversed Keenan's and kept I think that was Addison. His play on it. But rather than that, I'm more mad about the pass interference call.
Yeah.
And another problem is, what was DeAndre Carter doing?
That was the most idiotic mistake I've ever seen a punt returner make. Ever.
I don't know about that.
Dude,
but it looks very stupid. You're not wrong.
You call fire to clear out everybody. So you clear everybody out but yourself.
Everybody watch out. You're the only one there. You're the only one standing in front of the ball.
You were literally feet away from where the ball landed. What went through your mind to be like, this is a safe spot for me to stand?
I'm going to let the ball hit me in the thigh.
I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know. Brain fart, just, you know what I mean? Maybe he was looking at the trajectory of the ball and the spin, and he thought it was going to bounce back. I don't know. But you cannot have that happen that late in the game.
And also, I guess I'm just forgetting plays. They're all coming back to me now. How are you gonna have your field goal be blocked the same exact way as how your last game ended?
Yep. Not only that, but the field goal that we hit to go into overtime
missed by that much for being blocked.
Well, it missed by a little bit, but it was also almost blocked again. They didn't blow up the center. They got through on that same side.
It held just enough to hold it, just slightly. But
something is wrong with that. Now they did make a switch. They put who they put over there? Right. They put right on the left side.
But we essentially gave them 10 points, and then luckily we forced overtime. And Cairo Santos, is he just hitting low kicks? Is that just a Cairo Santos thing?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a big leg. Like I would say 52 to 53 is definitely his max.
But
yeah, those line drive kicks. I mean, people know he's doing it now.
Now I will say I liked his technique on the onside kick. He just laid it flat on the ground and he got lucky, but it was nice.
I was gonna say he got a little lucky.
It's lucky, but you kicked it hard.
That ball went like 5 yards.
You kicked it hard with it spinning. You know,
true.
It's hard to react because sometimes if you kick it 10 yards now, you're not.
Credit to our guys though, because they blew up the play. You know what I mean? They laid a hard hit. I think they were worried about getting hit. You know what I mean? A little less worried about the ball because the ball hit him in the foot or the back of the leg, whatever it was.
Yeah, hit him in the heel.
Yeah.
And then they scooped it up. I wasn't clear at first. But
credit to the kicking team, you know.
And then Caleb kicked butt on getting the touchdown, and it was nice that he jumped over, hit Keenan Allen. Then after the onside kick, he threw the couple passes he had to make to get us to that 49-yard field goal.
I'm not going to lie. When he hit the 2-point conversion to DJ to make it a 3-point game, and you saw him pumping his fists, and he was like screaming and getting amped, I'm not gonna lie. There was a part of me that was like, "All right, bro, calm down. Like, we're losing this." And then when we tied it, I'm like, "Holy shit!" Like, Caleb had every reason to throw in the towel and be like, "All right, that's game." The dude played his nutsack off.
Now, that leads me into he played his worst football in overtime of the game, and
unfortunately, yes.
And he called it out. He called himself out.
He took one of the worst sacks I think I've ever seen a quarterback take.
Gave you about 8 to 10 seconds, and you sat there. And I get it. The Vikings probably had good coverage. But you have to throw that away because now you take that sack and we're inside the 20, and all they would need is a field goal to win it. And that's what
Before
they did.
Though we shit on him too much here, this is for all you stat keepers, okay? All you people who always look at his stats and say, "Oh, his stats don't look that great. Oh, just look at his stats. His rating's low. He's not the guy." If you have to actually watch the game and see what the kid does.
I don't think he's thrown an interception in 4 weeks. I think 5 weeks. And you know what's funny is he hasn't thrown an interception in 5 weeks, but yet we're 0-5 in those 5 games.
Yeah, I mean, but that's not necessarily I mean, yes, it's good that you're not turning the ball over in that aspect, but like, be aggressive, man. Like, you're the number 1 draft pick for a reason. I want I want to see you throw the ball 47 times. You know what I mean? And throw for 340 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was aggressive. He made some throws in tight windows that quarterbacks are not going to make.
Well, that's because of, and I'm going to give it to him.
Make those.
Thomas Brown, he changed. I won't say he completely flipped the playbook, but he's just, you can tell Caleb Williams' goal is to throw the ball.
Caleb said his aura. He's got some good aura. Those young kids are saying aura now. I guess that's a thing.
He starts it off. He gets them confident early, and then he starts letting them rip it.
Let me ask you this.
Let's jump into it. I know where you're going with this.
Everyone, including, I think you said this as well. Bears lose to the Lions on Thanksgiving this Thursday. Are you firing
if they win? Even
if they win? Okay, then hear me out. Hear me out.
Yes.
Are you giving that interim head coach title to Thomas Brown?
This is his interview process. I don't think it matters what you do Thursday, because
you have to, right? You have to give it to him.
They have to send a message. Say, hey, all these close losses are unacceptable, and 75% of them are coaching errors, because the talent's there. And the one thing that Eberflus is good at is now starting to regress.
Yeah.
So that's becoming a problem.
Exactly. The one thing that he really brought to the table where you can make an argument for him and say, he's the guy. He's keeping that locker room together. That defense is really shining. None of that's the thing anymore.
This is your real chance to see if Thomas Brown has that other factor. Obviously, he's got the offensive going. They're playing well, but that doesn't make you a head coach.
Exactly. He's got an energy to him, though,
that
the players seem to be responding to.
He's been an assistant head coach. He was there with McVay. He struggled a little bit in Carolina, but he does have experience at assistant head coaching.
Yeah.
He obviously have to be your next spot up, I would think.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to give that interim job to anybody else if they did do this.
Yeah.
But the Bears have shown you time and time again that they don't do that.
Yeah.
That would be the right thing to do. Instead of waste your time, go through these 6 weeks, whatever happens. Oh, let's try Thomas Brown next year. And, he's not a good head coach. Like, you have 6 games left to see, or after this week, you'll have 5 games to see what's he got.
Now, let me ask you this. What if their intention is, Ryan Poles' intention is to keep him as offensive coordinator and not move him into that interim head coach spot, and to keep Eberflus for the rest of the year, and then just hire a new coach at the end of the season?
Ryan Poles might be going right out the door with Eberflus. Because if Eberflus doesn't get fired this week,
I don't think he is. I really don't.
Doesn't get fired. If the Bears lose, if the Eberflus does not get fired, because obviously if they win, they're probably not going to. I'm just talking out of that. But if he wins, you'll see positives, and then you got to keep him. Personally, for me, I've seen enough. But if Eberflus,
I think personally for all Bear fans, we have seen enough.
Yeah, but if they lose and Eberflus stays, then makes you think it's not Ryan Poles. It's the owners that aren't letting Ryan Poles fire Eberflus, which means then that both of those guys are going to walk hand in hand, and then we got to start this whole general manager coach thing over again,
which will be very frustrating.
Because I think Poles, I like him for the most part. He's had a couple blunders, but he's had more success than blunders. The team
he's had some air balls on some offensive line,
but this is his third year, and he came with nothing. So
he started from like you said,
defense was awful.
It was bad.
No weapons on the offensive side. He took over. I think they had Fields for 1 year. I think, right? Because Poles came in. They already hired Eberflus. I don't think Poles pick Eberflus.
Poles did. Poles was responsible for hiring Eberflus.
And Nagy left the same year. They both got kicked out the same year.
Yeah, Poles was responsible for the Eberflus hire. I remember not being excited about it.
And it went bang bang, and Eberflus was just a quiet. I forgot. I wanted Dable, and I still want Dable.
No,
I do. But
think Dable's a bad coach.
no, you're the only one that thinks that.
I don't think so. I think more
think
people
so.
would say he's a bad. That
I
might be
think
a poll we have to do.
The general manager is the issue in that, and the owner.
I don't know about that. I think he's a good coordinator.
Dable won a playoff game with Daniel Jones. But Daniel Jones is your quarterback. Brian Dable won a playoff game.
Yeah, and look at what he's done with Daniel Jones since.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel Jones also been
Wasn't
hurt.
he also part of giving Daniel Jones that big contract?
No, Dable's not part of that. He wouldn't pay him that money.
You don't think he had anything to do with that?
That's general manager. You think Dable had something to do with
you
think Dable wanted to get rid of Saquon Barkley?
I'm not saying he did.
Yeah, that's a big problem. Why they're bad. Is there a big difference between Devin Singletary and Saquon Barkley?
On the Giants, Barkley was never going to be what he is now.
No, but there's a difference. He's a stud. He's the best in the game.
My thing is, though, you're crazy if you think Daboll didn't say to Giants management, we need to keep this guy.
No, but I mean,
we gotta lock him up and give him.
He didn't pay the contract. I mean, I don't.
Well, obviously he didn't pay, but there's no way the head coach is just staying quiet during your quarterback, who's probably going to make or break. You can't
tell me Daniel Jones looked good enough in that playoff run, and they won the playoff game. But he regressed.
The second they gave him that contract, that was the worst contract.
That could be a Daniel
ever.
Jones thing. That doesn't have to be a Dable thing. That could be a Daniel Jones thing. And he had injury problems as well. Dable is a fantastic coach. I'm not saying he's the best out there, but
I don't think he's shown anything to say he's a fantastic coach.
He fixed Josh Allen. That goes on his resume with that.
Okay, so he's a good coordinator.
No, I think he's a good leader of men, and the Giants have done him no favors.
I don't know. Neighbors also seems pretty pissed with him. So.
Yeah, I mean he's pissed, but I think that's because
he's also got a right. You're down 30-0, and you start getting the ball.
Well, I made a mistake on picking the Giants.
Dable also decided to start fucking what's his name?
Tommy DeVito, but I don't think
Tommy DeVito over Drew Lock.
I think it was a general manager thing.
I don't think so. I don't
know what they're gonna do, but that Giants team is in rough shape.
Yeah.
And I'm not blaming on Dable. I think it goes up higher than Dable. Kind of like you want to think about the Bears, it's higher than Dable.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I'm obviously not on that side of things, even fandom wise, but I don't know. I just find it hard to believe that a QB can get such a big contract without the head coach having to say anything in that matter. Let's switch back to the Bears, though, for a second. What would you grade Thomas Brown's play calling this week? I think last week, give him another B?
I think he's a solid B+, but
I think he called a little bit better of a game this week.
It's hard for me to
honestly, defense and special teams, I put the loss at defense, special teams head coach.
There's a few screens that didn't work, but
also a few screens that did work.
But I won't blame that on him. I mean, execution's one thing, a call's one thing, execution's the other. Caleb's not taking sacks. It's hard for me to give an A because it didn't look perfect. They did nothing for the quarters.
I mean, I don't think you can really give an A without if your team doesn't get the win. I mean, it's hard to give an A.
All I can say is grading's hard, but all I can say is I like it and I like where it's going.
Yeah, it's definitely trending in the right direction, which is good to see. Unfortunately for us and Bear fans everywhere, we can never have the offense and defense playing good at the same time. It's one or the other.
But I just love, they showed DJ Moore with these last 2 weeks has the same amount of catches and more yards and more touchdowns than he did in a 4-week span prior to that.
You can tell the body language is different in DJ for sure. I mean, that offense is playing better. So
they're
maybe Waldron too. Maybe Waldron just had some kind of negative impact on that dude. And
they're forcing more. They're like, no, we're going to design plays just for you.
Yeah. And I mean, everything with Waldron was basic and it was just boring.
No,
we should have listened to Jackson Smith Njigba.
Yeah,
we should have listened to him.
But no, I think Thomas Brown at worst should be the offensive coordinator next year. I don't want him as head coach next year. I'm going to say that now.
I don't either. Yeah, I don't either.
And that might just because I want to name. I have my mind focused on a few others. But
because the Bears always go for somebody who you're like, you know what I mean? You're not excited about, but you're like, oh, maybe they'll be a good coach.
But
You know, and
however,
we're
though,
probably going to do it again.
if they do fire Eberflus and Thomas Brown leads us to like a 5-0 stretch or 4-1 stretch or whatever, and Caleb is just dogging and just balling his brains out, like then we can have a conversation. Like, you know what? Maybe Thomas Brown has this locker room.
Dude, I keep hearing though around the league that we're not firing Eberflus, no matter what.
I've heard other things that they may after Thanksgiving, but for the record, those were the same reports that came out 4 years ago when Matt Nagy was coaching. They said, "Oh, after this Thursday game, Matt Nagy's walking out."
Exactly.
He finished the rest of the year.
I don't think we are. I think he's gonna be here next year.
And I like Eberflus. I really did, and I'm not. I just feel like at this point now, like I've just seen enough of these one-score losses. You're not adjusting your plan. It's just. And your defense that was once elite, I can't look the other way anymore. They're giving up these big plays. You have so much space. You have no pressure. You're not blitzing. Your blitzings aren't working. It's falling apart and it's crumbling week by week. You're losing your confidence. You're saying stupid things in press conference.
I'm glad you brought up blitzing because this is what I wanted to bring up again. Why the hell in overtime do you have that defense in prevent defense? You have your safeties and your linebackers like 10 to 15 yards.
So much space.
So much space. All they needed was a field goal. And you let them take it. You let them have it. I don't understand the prevent defense in overtime.
It's the cover two.
You have to be aggressive.
It's the bend but don't break, and trust me, our defense is not good enough to do the cover two.
In overtime, there's no such thing as bend but don't break.
This isn't the Lovie Smith defense from 15 years ago that used to do this defense, but they made it work majority of the time.
And also what made this defense work is forcing turnovers. We are no longer forcing turnovers at the rate that we were. Owens forced a fumble early in the game, but it's not happening anymore like it was early in the season. You know what I mean? Also, Brisker not being in is killing us. So I don't know what was up with the prevent defense. I feel like it doesn't take a genius to know in overtime to not be in prevent defense. I don't know what he was thinking there or what benefit we were getting from that. But
you know what's sickening about the last 2 weeks?
He made the easiest throws to get his team in a field goal range.
What's sickening about these last 2 weeks is that the Bears really wanted to make the wild card. Everything is going in their favor. Commanders are hitting reality. They've lost now. They're 7-5. Like if we win these last 2 weeks, we are we're 6-5 and we're a half game out of the wild card spot.
Yeah.
And we're not even going to count the game we should have beat them on. And like they lost. The Niners aren't great. Rams aren't looking great.
Yep, we definitely missed an opportunity,
and now we're 4-7, and I've played with scenarios, and I probably shouldn't have.
I have too. I was right before we went on to.
I was curious to see what they needed, and I did a couple scenarios, and there's no way they make it. First of all, they got to go 6-0.
Yeah, we got to win out for sure,
and that's not going to happen. And two, like, I mean, Commanders. I don't think the Commanders are bad, but they aren't as good as everyone thought they were.
Yeah.
Jane Daniels, I know his stats looked fantastic, but
they've definitely come back down to earth.
Let them be shown though; those stats were awful for 3 quarters.
Yeah.
And then, that was one of the craziest games. That was going right in hand with the Bears game.
Yeah, people need to realize too with Jaden's stats. Again, the people who love their stats. He's making a lot of big plays at the very, very end of games where he's getting like 70 yards.
That was bad coverage by the Cowboys. That cannot happen.
Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible.
A lot of stuff in that ending of the game should not have happened.
I don't know why it kind of made me feel a little good when they missed their extra point because I'm like, it tastes a little bit of how we felt.
And then the onside kick and the Cowboys run the onside kick back for a touchdown.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
But no, they came back to earth. The Niners injuries are getting them. And I don't know if we talked about this, but I'm not taking this like seriously, but does Kyle Shanahan get fired? And do we kind of try to shake the pot a little bit then?
I say he stays. I think there's no way he gets fired.
I don't either. He's done too much good there, and this is clearly an injury-filled season.
He's a proven good coach. I don't think he gets fired. I think he is absolutely suffering from injuries, just killing that team right now.
If they do just mutually part ways, is that the guy you want? The fact you got to think about it worries me about you.
No, I'm just going through in my head who's available.
There's nobody more than I would want other than Kyle.
There's one other guy that I would really want, but I would say Shanahan is definitely number one.
Ben Johnson's good.
Yeah, I have Ben Johnson at 2.
But Shanahan's got experience.
Yeah, 100%. He has shown that he can coach, and he has shown that he can get an offense to click. So I think he would do wonders with the Bears, and I would love to see it, but I don't think it's going to happen.
It'd be dumb.
I don't think even entertaining it. You know what I mean?
I'm trying not to. I've seen on.
I know it's hard not to. Yeah, I think Ben Johnson's a lot more realistic for us, and even that, I don't know if that's realistic.
And I'm gonna say something depressing.
Oh boy!
I saw on Get Up this morning, Jeff Saturday. I didn't see all what he said, but he thinks Caleb Williams might save Eberflus's job. Where Caleb Williams looks good and down the stretch. And they're like, ooh, maybe we could run it back, and now we're all there for next season. And, Thomas Brown's the coordinator.
I think his record just shows on Sundays, his overall record, especially on the road. Everything's bad. 11 against the Packers.
That's bad in itself.
That's terrible. I don't think there's anything that can save him at this point.
Yeah, I think it's a lost cause. I don't know how many years left he has on his contract. He's got 2 more years, though.
He's got a bit, yeah. And people are saying that he even has an extra year on his contract that's not being reported.
It was 4, and then they think the extra year was 5.
Yeah. So he might have 3 more years.
2.
What is this, his 3rd?
Yeah.
Okay. But regardless, that's that. Biggest takeaway from the game, although I feel like we're both going the same way.
Biggest takeaway from the game is Thomas Brown improving, Caleb Williams. We have a quarterback. Let's knock the nonsense off. Caleb.
Yeah, everybody's saying that Caleb's not the guy.
Talk's over.
You clearly don't watch football if you think Caleb's not the guy.
Vikings have a great defense. Brian Flores is one of the best defensive coordinators in the game.
But isn't that really nice to see, though, Caleb do what he did against that kind of defense?
Especially in crunch time at the very end there.
Oh, yeah, came back and forced it to OT. That's great to see.
Because if this was back in the day, Fields was done with his legs, but to see someone do it with their arm.
Oh, it's great. It's great.
It was some of the best plays I've seen.
Not only that, but I still love watching him read defenses and move from one side of the field to the other. It's good.
It's the best I've seen a Bears quarterback look maybe ever.
Yeah. And we got to bring up, although it's not much to brag about, he broke the rookie record for most pass yards by a rookie quarterback
and most touchdowns in the season. But and he's only
not much
11.
to brag about over here. But I had to say it. Had to give him his flowers.
But no, he's going to throw probably 3,500 yards this year, which we want that 4,000, but he probably isn't going to get it. But
it'd be real nice. It'd be real nice to shut people up.
He will get it eventually.
What would he need to average to get that at this point?
Well, he's over 2 now.
Yeah, I think he's at
got 6 games left.
400, something like that.
So they get 4,000.
I'm not good at math.
He's probably got to throw 300. He's got to throw 300 in every game and maybe a little more.
Oof. All right, so you're saying there's a chance.
But
do you have any big surprises in week 12? Let's
surprises.
bring up the handy dandy notebook here. Preston tries to go off the top of his head. I can't do that. I got to bring up my phone and look at the games.
I mean, the Niners. It's kind of a shock.
I brought it up. I think maybe last week, maybe the week before. What about Saquon Barkley, man?
But they got. I guess I should say I'm more surprised at how great the Packers look, and they are a legit team.
They beat up on a beat-up 49ers
team. The quarterback. I can't say I'm shocked about the Browns being the Steelers. That was a fun ending, though, and seeing Jameis Winston just be so goofy, and he might be the funniest person to watch.
I don't I don't understand the guy.
He just talks so fun, and then
Yeah.
he's throwing snowballs and doing snow angels face down in the snow.
Also, your terrible pick of the Giants beating the Bucks.
I'm not shocked about it. I just thought
That
it
was
gonna,
when I saw
it,
you pick that, I was like, that might be one of the worst picks I've ever seen in my
I
life.
thought it was gonna do the opposite, but it didn't. They're not gonna get picked for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
But I don't think this week had many surprises. I guess we'll just keep
Bo
riding.
Nix looking real good still.
Who?
Bo Nix.
Bo Nix.
He's
Yeah,
looking real nice.
Broncos are legit. And guess what? Bo Nix is starting to narrow the gap for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
I'm trying to think what else happened. I mean,
I would say Saquon going absolutely off.
But that should not be a surprise.
It's not a surprise, but I'm going to bring this into it. I think he's in the running for MVP.
He should be favorited right now. But what sucks for running
which might be a surprise to people.
What sucks for running backs is you got to pretty much break a record or do something that doesn't happen ever.
Yeah, I mean he's pushing 2,000 rushing yards this season.
Like a quarterback can just do whatever, and just
right.
And now I won't say do whatever, but they can just throw 38 touchdowns.
I would love to see him get it, especially after all that BS with the Giants. You know what I mean? I would love to see him get MVP.
Another surprise.
I don't think he will, but
and it just keeps adding on is the Chiefs had to barely beat the Panthers.
Another win.
Another one-score game. And in this case, though, it was against an awful team.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, dude, they're hovering around. I mean, obviously they're winning football games, but man, the way that they're winning them, and then Mahomes not having a great season. Now I know this is going to come back. We're going to play this later, and we're going to laugh because Mahomes is going to do his thing in the playoffs and destroy everybody.
I don't know. This team looks different.
Hopefully your boy can take him out this year.
I mean, because who else is right there with them? I mean, the Bills, the Ravens, the Chargers and Steelers are two weird teams because they could wear you out with their defense.
Right.
So those games should be close. But the Bills and obviously Ravens are probably most likely to take them out. But But think about if the Chiefs lose that bye week and they they're gonna beat if they play the Chargers or the Steelers, they're gonna beat them. But guess what? They're gonna get worn out. When they come play the Bills after a bye week, or they probably wouldn't play the Bills or the Ravens. They probably play the Ravens after a bye week. And guess what? The Ravens are gonna come in there and.
Man, I don't know. I feel like the Ravens defense this year is real bad.
Here's the biggest surprise, actually. I thought of one after talking around for a while. It's the Titans beating the Texans.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud.
I also think the Texans just aren't that good this year.
They're regressing. They're in a bad division. They're gonna.
Did everyone overhype CJ Stroud?
Yes, I said that from day one.
I think we're guilty of it too. I think we hyped him up this offseason.
Is a slightly above average quarterback. I don't think he's top 5. I guess I won't say slightly above average, but I think we
hyped him up this offseason.
He was never going to be an MVP candidate player like everyone said he was going to be. He's not a top 5 quarterback, and hell, he might flirt with the top 10 quarterback.
Also, I think it's hilarious since CJ Stroud did the little bro thing to Caleb. I'm pretty sure Caleb has had better numbers than Stroud since.
There was a blind ranking about that from there. Saw on part of my take.
Yeah, that was hilarious. That's what I was referencing. Yeah,
Texans look like they're disgraced by being in a bad division, and they're going to get that 4th seed, the worst division seed, and they're going to have to probably go to Baltimore, and I think Baltimore is going to whip them. Maybe Pittsburgh. It's either going to be they're going to have a home game. Ravens are going to go to. It doesn't matter. I think whoever's going to go to Houston is going to take care of business.
Yeah,
specifically the Ravens.
That. Yeah, unless they catch fire. I mean, there's still a lot of football
left. The Steelers, because the Steelers did lose a tough one.
Yeah.
I think the Steelers would take care of Houston. That one's not as much as a gimme, but
I don't see Houston doing. Yeah, I don't see Houston doing anything this year, to be honest. Granted too, they've had some injury problems this year. Obviously, they lost Diggs.
Everyone does.
True. I mean, yeah.
They lost Diggs and Collins, but Collins is back now.
Also, Chiefs have also had injury problems
Chiefs
like
been
crazy
banged
this year.
up. I mean,
we've been banged up, to be honest. Granted, we're not a good football team right now, but yeah, let's get to our rankings. Top 5 through week 12. Who goes first?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I just got breaking news on my phone. Just a quick little baseball news. ESPN has announced that Blake Snell signed a 2-year deal, of course, with the Dodgers. Dodgers get everybody.
Dude.
I guess we'll talk about this after. Okay, power rankings. Yep. After week 12.
Week 12.
Number 5. I know they're in 3rd place, but damn it, it's the Green Bay Packers. Josh Jacobs has been a dog. He had a hell of a game. He would have got 4 touchdowns or whatever it was. He would have had a ton of touchdowns if it wasn't for taking them out early. Jordan Love looks pretty good. I know they're not household names in Dobbs, Watson, Reed, Tucker Kraft, but they're good. That defense is good. Packers are a pretty badass team. And I hate to say it. I hate to say it. They're legit. Number 4, it's the Kansas City Chiefs.
Dang.
I know they're 10-1. I know that. They don't look good. All their wins do not look good. They have not blown a team out. They let the Panthers hang around, and they had to barely get by that game. I just think, they might end up the year, 14-3, 15-2, because their schedule's easy the rest of the way out. But I think they're going home early in the playoffs this year, as in divisional round.
Yeah.
Maybe AFC Championship. I think it's over early.
Oof.
Number 3, and this one I almost moved up even higher than that. Am I going to switch it right now? I think I am. Number 3 is the Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills.
I like what they got going on, but sometimes there's some inconsistency in some of their losses there. They're great, though. I love them. Josh Allen's got that Superman cape on. But sometimes that offense scares me. Sometimes when Josh Allen isn't able to do that. And he is starting to turn over the ball a little more, which is a little bit scary. But he's still a dog, and he finds ways to win. And that defense is top-notch. Number 2, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. My God, their defense is stellar. Jalen Hurts is playing incredible. They did what they did on Sunday Night Football without Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
Saquon is, we've said it, MVP caliber player, might be the favorite right now. He is doing that, and we're not even mentioning A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. We're just talking about Saquon, and there's 4 more weapons.
Yep.
This team's scary, and their defense is scary. Their offensive line is fantastic. Nick Sirianni's been less of an idiot over the last few weeks, and
he's calmed down a bit.
Decent well. This Eagles team is a threat, and I don't see them regressing like they did last year. And number 1 is the Detroit Lions. Damn, they're good. Gibbs and Montgomery just do what they do. Jared Goff.
Scary thing is they could do whatever they want.
Goff is just playing safe football, and that's all he needs to do.
Yeah.
Just play.
He just needs to be a game manager.
Just hit Amon-Ra St. Brown when you need to. Hit Jameson Williams when you need to. But let Gibbs and Montgomery do their thing. And they lost Aiden Hutchinson, but guess what? That defense is still performing at a high rate because
they
Campbell
haven't skipped a beat, dude.
Dan Campbell's a hell of a coach. Ben Johnson's a fantastic coordinator. This Lions has the perfect formula. So I got Lions 1, Eagles 2, Bills 3, Chiefs 4, and the Green Bay Packers 5.
Solid list, but it's not the list. I'll give you the list right here for everybody. Number 5, I have the Green Bay Packers. As much as I, like you were saying, as much as that pains me, breaks my heart. They are playing good football. Jordan Love's questionable though. He'll randomly make those stupid mistakes where he just kind of throws the ball up. They're 50-50 balls. He throws that deep ball. You never know if it's going to be intercepted or if it's going to be a gain of 70. But they're playing good over there. Obviously, Josh Jacobs is huge for them. Kind of scary how good this division is, minus the Bears. Unfortunately, I hate saying that. Okay. Number 4, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. I would like to put them higher. I just feel like I can't. I feel like there are better teams. Obviously, everything you said, Jalen Hurts playing like. I also want a big bet. Betting on
didn't even share to
the Eagles. Public. I did not share it, so I know I really can't take credit for it. But I was on such a cold spell. I did not want to feel like I was wasting anyone's money. It's been a hell of a year for me, betting wise. Normally, I have hit a couple big bets by now. This was my first big one of the year. But yeah, Eagles, Barkley, borderline MVP this year. AJ Brown doing his thing. Like you said, Devontae's been hurt this year. He hasn't even been in a hell of a lot, but that offense is moving the ball. Defense is playing good enough to win games. They're looking like a good team, maybe a contender for the NFC Championship. But we'll talk about that in a second. Number 3, I have the Chiefs. Obviously, they're the Chiefs. There's really not much to say here. Pat Mahomes not having a great year, but they're still winning games. They just beat a last place team in the Panthers. But yeah, what's the record right now? What are they sitting at?
Chiefs.
Yeah, what are they?
They're 10-1.
10-1. Yeah, hard to put them any lower than that at 10-1. And they do get a lot of help from the refs. I didn't say it; he said it.
I didn't see it this week. I didn't watch the game.
Yeah, I didn't either, but they do get a lot of help. Number 2, I have the Buffalo Bills. I think this could be the year for them. I'm not saying Super Bowl win, but I am saying maybe they're coming out of the NFC, AFC. Allen's having a good season. Again, credit to him because I did say that he lost his weapons and I didn't think he was going to have a good year. He proved me wrong. He's having a great year. Everyone on that offense is doing something. They're all contributing. They're a good team. Number 1, I have the Detroit Lions. Let's be real. They're just powerhouse. Good from top to bottom. Even their equipment manager I saw is ripped and jacked, and he's a great equipment manager. I made that up. I have no idea who he is. But yeah, that team stacked from top to bottom. From their head coach, their special teams. Everything's good about that team. They're going to be scary. I really think that they're winning the Super Bowl this year. And to be honest, they've been blowing teams out, blowout after blowout after blowout. I'm a little scared as a Bear fan.
For Thursday, are they going to ruin our Thanksgiving?
I was going to say, do you think it's going to be a blowout to where we're like, damn? I would love it if we kept it a 2-score game.
Now we ain't getting blown out. We're going to be winning most of the game.
I feel like we're going to be a little competitive, but that's probably a Bear fan of me. So to recap, I got Lions 1, Bills 2, Chiefs 3, Eagles 4, and Packers 5. And
that's all right. Same 5 teams, just different order.
Yeah, different order.
No.
Didn't want the Packers in there, but
Vikings fans might be crying a little bit. We got a better record.
I still feel like, dude, I still feel like they're pretenders.
I don't think they're good. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. But let's also bring up, I think we forgot to bring up the last couple of weeks, our weekly records. This week in our weekly predictions, I went 7-6. Preston went 6-7, 1 game worse. And he is 10 games back on me for the year. That's rough. We're coming to the end of the year.
We got 6 more weeks left to go.
Do you think you're going to make up the ground? Because normally we're difference in games. We're usually at like 3 maybe at most.
Yeah. I mean,
you're gonna have to make up. You have not beaten me
since, record. I mean, I said you my picks. I think you look at them. And I think you see a couple of my out there picks, and you go with the safer option, and that's why you get a couple games on me each week.
What he's referring to is he posts his. I usually message him and say, "Hey, don't forget to send me your video for your picks." And when I send him that, mine has already been recorded and waiting. I don't post them though until I get Preston's video. So
I
my
don't know
picks
if
are
there's
in.
proof. I don't know if there's proof on that.
I mean, it makes no sense. I'm clearly better. You want to go with Jimmy G, not P-Dawg. But yeah, I don't think you have beaten me since week. Let's see here. You haven't beaten me since week 5.
Who's counting?
Me. Absolutely me. I'm the stat guy, man.
Let's shift to baseball for a second. Just
Yeah.
quick.
MLB news.
We're not going to forget about it. There were some awards announced early in the week here. White Sox old ace, Chris Sale,
Miss him.
at age 35, is a Cy Young winner.
Damn.
What'd you think about it?
Good for him. He was my favorite pitcher when we had him. We had him in the bullpen to start, right?
Briefly, yeah.
Briefly, yeah. And you know, being a lefty, I always feel like I bond with those lefty pitchers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot different though than Burley because he had that 100-mile-per-hour fastball.
Oh yeah, completely different style than
it just
Burley.
Sucked, that
just
Sale.
The way Sale threw too. It was, you know, he was real fun to watch.
He was just
obviously he had that moment with the Sox where he cut up the jerseys.
Yeah, he was on a bad era. That was they were in that.
Yeah,
rebuild.
he held that team together. Yeah, he played on some really bad Sox teams. Who hasn't though? Most players do.
Yeah, most White Sox, their most seasons are bad.
Yeah. But yeah, one of my favorite Sox pitchers ever. Yeah. Good for him. Happy
He's
for him.
He's the best White Sox pitcher ever, unfortunately. I want to say Burley, but Chris Sale's obviously the most talented pitcher we've had.
Yeah, I agree with that. Sox have had we've been lucky. We've had some pretty good pitchers over the years.
And then obviously Skubal for the Tigers won his first Cy Young. He's young as hell. Tigers have a bright future. Then we know the MVPs, Judge, Ohtani, 2 future Hall of Famers that just have such a bright future. Makes you think, like, why can't we have somebody of that caliber?
Because our upper management always ruins it. Always.
And
somehow it always gets ruined.
And then that's the baseball news. Then just to go briefly, the Bulls won tonight. Bulls have won, I think, 2 in a row. Or 2 out of 3.
I want to kind of get excited for the Bulls because I see spurts to where I'm like, you know, they're not as bad as I was thinking they are. But then they also go on spurts to where I'm like, they are as bad as I thought they were going to be.
I hate it. I'll say I follow the Bulls, and I love them, and I know what's going on. I just get more invested once football's over. Then I'll start watching the game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is typically, bless you, this is typically the schedule that's going to happen for us. When football season's on, we're going to be mainly football. But then obviously football season's going to end. We're going to be, you know, all about basketball.
Baseball spring training will be around the corner.
Yeah, I'll sneak in Blackhawks. There's not much to talk about Blackhawks wise right now because they're bad. I also called that. So not much to talk there. But yeah, you'll kind of see the rotation as we go along.
I will. I guess I don't got a surprise for Jimmy, but we have talks about a guest who will be able to match.
Don't say anything yet. Don't say anything. Who will
be able to match Jimmy G with the Hawks knowledge. Because this guy's a Hawk fanatic. We'll get to that maybe next month or so. But he's the man. But we got future things planned here. We hit our 90 subscribers. We are 10 subscribers away from the Hot Ones episode. We've been screaming at you about it for the last month. 10 more.
10 more. We only need to. We're so close.
And so close. I'm thinking I might buy the sauce this weekend on Black Friday because they got a little deal.
Ooh, Black Friday deal on hot sauce? Hell yeah!
It's like 20% off, but you know it's better than
solid, man. Better than paying full price.
I've been looking at it. I think I might pull the trigger here soon.
Hell yeah,
guys! We want to do it for you, but you got to meet us in the middle.
We're gonna get a crew together. Me and Preston are going to be in person. Our first in-person episode. And we're gonna have some help from some people,
and it's not going to be like a typical. We're going to do it like they do on there. We're going to ask each other 10 so be it. But 10 sports-related questions to each other, so that and it's going to be kind of like Sean Evans does on Hot Ones, but it's going to be the P-Dawg and Jimmy G version.
Yep, it's going to be a prepared episode, so it's going to be a little different than these. It's going to be fun. I'm excited for it, but we need to get there first.
Yeah,
10 away.
10.
We're close.
And everyone have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yes. Gobble gobble, wobble wobble, wobble baby, wobble baby, wobble baby. I don't know how I got stuck on that. Gobble.
Cut it.
I think we just figured it around. That's ours. That's ours.
That's the cue.
All right, another episode.
Subscribe to this Podcast Sox.
Deuces.
Adios.
Adios, muchacho.